Hi, I was thinking a little bit today about this model that I love working with, and I wanted to introduce it to you today because I think that this is something that can really be helpful for us in terms of thinking about how we use our time. And this is the model from Gay Hendricks in the book The Big Leap, which I really love and recommend. And he talks about the things that we do on an everyday basis can fall into 4 categories. One is the zone of incompetence, things we're just not good at, and yet we still try doing them, like, I don't know, fixing the washing machine or the printer or whatever it is. Second is the zone of competence, which is things we can do, but other people can do a whole lot better. Then there's the zone of excellence, things that we're really good at, and we often fall back on in terms of doing them just because we are good at them, but they don't give us that spark of joy and energy and excitement as we do them. And then we've got our zone of genius, which is the things that we do that really mean that time disappears as we're doing them. We could spend hours doing them, they energize us. It's really when we feel like we're in flow and using our potential. Now, the thing with a zone of genius is that it can be tricky sometimes because it is something that we are particularly good at, but we don't recognize that. We think it's just because it comes so naturally to us, we think everybody does the same. So kind of an example of that is not something in my zone of genius for sure, but when I climbed Kilimanjaro and I said to someone, yeah, but so many people climb Kilimanjaro, it's not a big deal. And he turned around and said, no, not so many people climb Kilimanjaro. Yes, it's something you can do, but you did it. And that's the thing with our zone of genius. We often think, oh, other people can do the same. If you have really good listening skills and you find that people just come and talk to you about their most personal stuff and you think, well, everybody does that. No, they don't. There's something about you that really creates this kind of dynamic. So what I want you to think about today, because our zone of incompetence, we need to definitely delegate and hand over to the people who can actually do it. Don't spend time and energy doing something you can't do. Zone of competence, we should also delegate, because here it drains our energy to actually do stuff. So as much as possible, delegate. Not always possible to delegate everything there, but also work towards how to delegate, who do you ask to do it, and how you can hand that stuff over. Zone of excellence and genius is where it gets confusing, because often we get stuck in our zone of excellence. Things that we can do really well. People rely on us for it, but it doesn't light us up. And that's when we sometimes feel that we lose our spark or we lose our joy, because we keep going back into these zone of excellence things that, our environment, our situations expect from us, but we don't love doing it. So what I want to invite you today is, first of all, to figure it out. What are your zones of genius? What are your zones of excellence? What are your zones of competence and incompetence, which you really need to let go of as much as possible? But try to define that zone of genius and zone of excellence for yourself and see how much time do you actually spend in your zone of genius, because that is the thing that is your main unique contribution to the world. That is the thing that is going to light you up and make you more connected to your mojo and bring your spark to life, and really about then finding more opportunities to do that. But I think the first step is just identifying it, and that's not always so easy. Ask people around you to give you feedback. What are you really good at? What do they love about spending time with you? What is the thing that you do that is really, adds that little bit of something extra to the situation? So that's a question I'm going to leave you with, and I'd love for you to share, if you want, share some of your zone of excellence, zone of genius, and competence, incompetence as well. And let's start having a conversation about that. And any questions, feel free. Also, if you want to send that to me on DM, direct message, feel free. Let's spark a conversation. What does this video bring up for you?